Guardians or Marvel Studios Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but we're starting with the first one right now. Alright, so please forgive me for any, future endeavors where I suddenly, panting a little bit or whatever. It's because I've been helping Dad move a lot of heavy stuff. So, with that being said, let's get on with the review. So, I remember when me and Nick, before we started watching the movie, I was kind of sitting there with him, chilling out. He was getting really excited about watching this movie, because keep this in mind, like, in comparison to me and Nick watching the Guardians, like, I like the Guardians, but I think Nick really loves the Guardians of the Galaxy, because he loves, well, obviously Nick really loves Guardians of the Galaxy, because he loves Rocket. Rocket's his boy, and I'm like, you know what, I felt that. Rocket and Winter Soldier, if anyone didn't know, but let me... Okay, my bad for being gone for so long. I apologize. My Discord didn't update, and for some reason it was weird. So, anyway, so as I was saying, let's continue with the flick, right? So, it starts off with Peter losing his mom and immediately getting taken away from his home. I remember when I first saw this moment of Peter losing his mom, aka Peter Quill in this case, and I was like, because Peter's mom was dying because of a tumor in her head. And, Peter's mom asked him to hold her hand, and Peter just couldn't do it. He was too scared. He was too afraid to accept the reality of losing his mom. I mean, I'm going to be real. He lost his mom at a very young age, and I'm not going to lie, I could somewhat relate with that. I didn't lose my mom at a young age. Well, I did, being 15, 16. Losing your parent, like, before you, no matter what age it is, it's devastating. But especially when losing them at a really young age, it's even worse, I would say. But, Peter not taking his mom's hand due to him feeling guilty or him feeling just whatever, I kind of felt that. But I also was mad at Quill for not, like, taking his mom's hand, like, at least holding her before she goes on. I kind of felt bad about that. Felt really bad about that. Don't mind outside. I got, like, neighbors outside my apartment. Well, I'm trying to make this. Jeremiah the Cyber King, I'm bored. Hey, man, I'm not that bored, but I just got done doing some moving and lifting stuff, so I'm just trying to get something out there for you guys outside of what I said. I know I said the vlog was going to be the last thing, but I kind of want to do this review. Quill trying to do a space heist, and it worked. Then Star-Lord's dad called him and started... I only hate Guardians because of the intro, Guardians Volume 1. Yeah, like with his mom and shit. Yeah, that was a rough scene to kind of watch. I'm not going to lie. Like at the beginning of a movie, that was kind of rough. But I kind of found it funny that Quill was trying to do a space heist and his dad, a.k.a. Yondu, was calling him up. Ow. Dang, I flipped up my arm. Because I carried a mini fridge all the way out, down my steps, and outside to where it needs to be. That shit hurt. I'd rather have a tea party. Oh my god. But yeah, that was funny. Later on, Peter is dancing to Walkman being Mr. Funny Man. So if you don't know Walkman, it's a very old song. I think it's an 80s or 90s song. Because Peter Quill, was only on Earth for a very small fraction of his life. And that was around the 80s. So, like, the 80s to him is, like, the best music of all time. So, him just jamming to Walkman and all that stuff. I can't put on the clip. I'm going back to writing in my Pokedex book. Okay, thank you so much for watching as long as you did, man. But, yeah, that was kind of funny. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. What? I remember that shit was memed a little bit. But, I'm still watching. Oh, okay. Well. Usually when people say that, they're going to leave. So, I just naturally assume that. Anyways. Number 2.5, the chase scene between Groot, Rocket, Gamora, and Peter was pretty cool. So, basically, Groot and Rocket were chasing Gamora, or vice versa. No, Gamora was chasing... basically, how the scene starts is my man, Peter Quill... or Quill. Maybe just call him Quill, because there's two different Peters, and it's like, Peter, are you talking about Spider-Man, or are you talking about Quill? Okay, Peter Quill, aka Quill, had this object Gamora wanted back, and basically it started a whole chasing between the two of them. Then Rocket and Groot realized, hey, Gamora has a big-ass bounty on her head, and they start going after her too, and a whole big-ass chase ensues. They all end up going to prison together because of it, because it was illegal to do that, of course, like a legal chase, and causing disruption from the citizens. That shit's not right. And by the way, Nick, fuck you, but I love you, and I hate this, but I had no idea Van Diesel played Groot. Alright, so this is a wild one. I know people might get on my ass for this one, but I actually, when I was watching this, like for the first time way back in the day when I was watching, I did not know Van Diesel voiced Groot. I had no idea. I just thought Groot was voiced by just some random guy. You know what I mean? Or just some random person with a studio sampler or a voice sampler to make the pitch lower or something. That's what I thought Groot's voice actor was. I didn't think it was actually Van Diesel. I thought that shit was mind-blowing, okay? I thought it was mind-blowing. Who the hell is Van Diesel? Van Diesel is the dude who is in, I think, a good chunk of the Fast and Furious movies. He is the dude that made the meme, it's always about family. Yeah, that same Van Diesel, alright, or Vin Diesel. Van Diesel, look, names, I'm shitty at them, right? He's the dude who voiced Groot. I had no idea, and I remember me and Nick had a whole interaction basically saying, Alex, you watched this for the first time back in the day, and you had no idea who Van Diesel is? Or you had no idea, or not Van Diesel, you had no idea Groot voiced Van Diesel? Or Van Diesel voiced Groot? God damn it, see, now I'm messing up. And I'm like, no, I didn't, man. I didn't. I swear to God, I didn't. I just kind of watched the flick, thought it was cool, kind of forgot about it, and moved on, when I very first watched it for the first time. So pretty much this is like my first time feeling like all over again. So, and Nick was like, well, now that Van Diesel is Groot. And I'm like, okay. Thank you, Nick, for letting me know. I appreciate that, man. The prison bit with Drax about to take Gamora's life was funny. And I'm not saying somebody taking life was funny. It was more of how Drax went about it. Like, basically, Drax put her in a choke. Because basically, a lot of people... basically, the prison that Gamora and the rest were taken to, Peter, Rocket, Groot, were all in. This prison is where Gamora put a lot of those guys in. So, a lot of those guys went to jail because of Gamora. So, there's a lot of people that want Gamora's head on a stick. And keep in mind, Gamora is one of the daughters of Thanos. So keep that in mind. So, of course, she's going to have a lot of enemies. Right? And Drax, obviously knows Thanos or Thanatos or someone close to Thanos, killed his wife and kid. So he's mad about that, right? And he goes up, puts her chokehold against the wall, about ready to do it, right? And basically, this funny moment kind of ensues where Drax does not understand a word Quill is trying to say. And I felt like Quill, like, hey, you trying to kill someone? Hey, you trying to kill somebody? Hey, you trying to kill somebody? Hey? I don't think that's how you kill somebody. No, I don't think that's how you kill somebody. Nope, that's not how you kill somebody. Wait, don't kill that person. Why? And it was a whole little bit that I thought was kind of funny that Nick laughed at heavily during this scene, right? Hey! Oh, Nick, what's going on, man? How you doing? What? What are you saying hey for? I just wanted to get on and do this real quick, do this shit really quick, rush a little bit through the review a little bit. But, number 6, the prison break scene was pretty rad to sit and watch. So, one of the coolest moments in the movie outside of that prison, that Drax moment with the prison break, or not the prison break, god damn it, now I'm scrambling my words, right? I beat the lizard dude last night. Hey, good shit, man. Good shit. Other than the Drax scene, a little bit later, Rocket, Gamora, Quill, and Drax come up with a plan to escape prison. And basically, it was just actually really cool to sit and watch that moment live on screen, just to watch the whole prison. I would show you, but like there's a lot of copyrighted material. There's a lot of, a lot of stuff I can't show because I'm not in Disney. All right, where basically I get in trouble for literally anything. Like 5 seconds of footage, I'll get in trouble for it. So we're not even going to go on about that. Just watch them all for yourselves. You'll know what I mean, right? So number 7, I know I'm skipping a bit because this is just a movie review. It's not like I'm talking. Well, I am talking about the movie, but I'm not going to talk about the whole movie. Even though it did come back out in like 2014-ish. I think the first Guardians was 2014, something like that. Anyways, Tavon is a collector, like a really weird collector dude. So Tavon is, and we get introduced to him in this movie, but I want to tell you guys more about him so you guys know about him in this review. Basically, this dude is like a collector of the universe, it feels like, where he goes to different planets, meets different cultures, and captures them. Like, it can be a plant that he wants, and he'll take that, and he'll collect it and hoard it into his own area. Or if it's a living being, or a living species, or a rare species, he'll take that and go and collect it. And I thought this dude was fucking weird, right? I always just thought of him as weird, because not only his design was weird, but the way he acted in the movie was weird, and just, it kind of freaked me out when watching Tavon on screen talk to Gamora. He even wanted Rocket at a point. The motherfucker wanted Rocket. Who the fuck is going to take Rocket, man? You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. That's just not big. That's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Number 8. Learning about, learning about the Power Stone from Tavon, and a bit later, one of his subjects tries to basically say, fuck you, collector, I'm done working for you, I'm going to use this power to overthrow you. And basically she tried to grab it, and basically she fucking ended up dying. What the hell? Am I bleeding? It really felt like I was bleeding at some point. It really felt like my arm is tripping, bruh. But, well, I did just lift the fridge, and I kind of lifted it incorrectly. So, since I don't lift fridges very often, like mini fridges very often, or I don't lift at all, bro. So, it's like, that's taking a toll on me right now. But I don't blame, like, the little creature trying to take the Power Stone, but keep this in mind, when you're watching these movies. Do not try to touch an Infinity Stone unless you have something alien about you that allows you to be able to wield it. Because even somebody as, like, Quill or somebody else that touches it can be vaporized. That's why I feel like you need to be a special sort of being to be able to touch an Infinity Stone without dying. Because if you're a normal human, or if you're too weak, your energy levels are too weak, you'll just straight up evaporate and die in a nanosecond. Like, that's how easy they can just kill you. You know, these Infinity Stones and shit. But yeah, I kind of felt bad for that subject, but I do understand where the subject is coming from, right? And again, we are going to be skipping on a bit. We're going to be skipping about the heroes in these ships chasing one another for the orb is nuts. So yeah, the orb was like really important at a point, and I remember just these ships chasing them for a bit. I don't remember a whole lot, so I gotta move on from it. Number 10, I thought this was really cool. Quill's speech on stopping Roman was pretty rad. So Roman, for anyone that doesn't know, Roman is the main villain of this movie. He is one of Thanos' lackeys, and basically he took the Power Stone, infused it with his hammer, which makes him a massive threat. He has the Power Stone, right? And that's what makes him threatening. That's what makes him the main boss of this movie, right? And just hearing Quill's speech about how they all need to put their differences aside, they need to work together as a team to take this guy out, we can't do it without one another, was actually pretty damn cool and actually pretty damn inspiring, to be honest. I actually really enjoyed Peter Quill's quote. Even though, like, Peter Quill is, like, one of the most goofiest fucking characters in the MCU, and same with the rest of the Guardians, I still felt like Quill's speech on stopping Ronan was some of the realest shit in this movie, outside of, like, the loss of Quill's mom and shit. But anyways, 11, the Guardians doing the iconic slow-mo walk was cool. 12, Yondu taking out multiple guys was pretty sick. That shit was rad. The Guardians versus Ronin was actually really cool because they literally stood like no chance whatsoever until like Quill, I think, distracted them enough so that someone could like shoot the hammer or shoot the stone out of the hammer that he was wielding, so he can keep him distracted long enough just for the Guardians, Quill to touch it and him getting almost vaporized, and all the Guardians kind of conjoining hands to unleash the Power Stone's power on Roman and basically just destroy him from the inside out. I thought that was really cool. And one of the craziest things before that moment that I did not mention was Groot's sacrifice to allow all the Guardians to live from the ship crashing down. Yeah, that happened. And then the final battle with Ronan happened. And honestly, I thought the final battle was cool. Though, like, it's not going to be... And I'm going to say this for anyone that loves Guardians of the Galaxy or any Marvel movie. This is not going to be, like, your standard, typical Iron Man versus that dude battle where they're just clashing with each other all the time. It's basically the Guardians, distracting Ronan and trying to do something to try to temporarily stop him until they, do the solution to stop him. That's how it is. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was a solid movie. I thought it honestly was. It was a banger. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was awful. I felt like it set up its characters. It set up its plot points really, really well. And me and Nick watched this April 2nd, 2025. I know, it's like April 10th to 11th now, but I digress. Anyway, my experience with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 or Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So, let's get it on. Alright, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. We're going all the way back to the 1980s to see Ego on Earth getting with the chick, a.k.a. I think a.k.a. Quill's mom, but we didn't know that at the time, right? And I remember, like, me and Nick seeing that. We're going all the way back before Quill was born, before Quill's mom died, before all of that, before the events of the first movie for a little bit. I remember I kind of felt like a little bit weird because I was kind of sitting there like, whoa, wait a minute, back it up, back up 6 feet. Why are we pulling an Iron Man 1/2, right? Why are we pulling an Iron Man 1 right now? And I get it for, like, plot's sake, but keep this in mind, guys. Whenever I watch movies, I would rather have all this shit be put in the first movie. Like, shit that was in the past prior to the point. And I get it, like, why they do it like that sometimes, where they throw you back to a time before the some events of the first movie and shit, because it doesn't have context to the movie, so it doesn't really matter. You get it. But to me, I feel like, I don't know, if you're going to do a movie that takes place eons back, wouldn't you think that'd be awesome for the first movie to explain all that past shit, and then you can lead up to, these things. But anyways, yeah, but I thought number 1 was kind of cool, seeing, like, a way younger Ego, also, like, going on Earth, mating with chicks. That was kind of weird. Even though we don't know Ego at this point yet, but, well, we know Ego, but he's like a living planet. But anyways, I digress. Anyways, the guys start off killing this giant monster. Also, Baby Groot is just a freaking menace. So basically what I mean is, if you remember, after that 1980s segment, basically we go into where the Guardians are actually doing bounty hunter missions, doing a job. And they're all trying to look out for Groot at the same time, trying to fight a giant fucking baby monster. Or not a giant baby monster, but a giant fish monster that just won't die. That's basically what they do for a living, is they just take out a lot of big ships that are a threat, to the galaxy. And that's what they started off with. And just seeing Baby Groot go in there, and fucking try to take out things smaller than him for, like, no reason other than just him being a menace is just hilarious. I honestly thought that shit was hilarious, all things considered. This I know, but Guardians 2 is funny as hell sometimes. And I had to put that Because I won't lie to you guys, Guardians 1 and Guardians 2 are really funny Marvel movies. Like, I could sit there and watch them for their jokes. Like, they actually put in way more jokes in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. And I remember I pointed this out to Nick, actually, because I said, Nick, I realize while watching these movies, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, they actually spend a lot of time being serious, but they also spend a lot of time being funny. And I also like how Guardians of the Galaxy's humor is completely different, even though it takes place in the same universe as Marvel Studios, because you guys know the usual Marvel humor in your Iron Man movies and your Captain America movies. Like, there are subtle jokes, subtle jokes that a lot of people won't understand, or some people will understand, but, they're not really supposed to make you laugh out loud all that much, right? Or if they do have, like, moments like that, they'll have, like, a specific character in those Iron Man and Captain America movies that will make you think, funny. The funny man is here. Okay, he's going to do a joke. He's going to do a bit, right? But Guardians, and this is something I love about the Guardians 1 and 2, and maybe 3, when we get there, we get there. I love how funny they are. I love how even more funny they are than the Captain America Iron Man treatment that I've been watching like for a long time. I really appreciate that. And I love just how the humor is just so different, because you wouldn't think like in the same Marvel Studios like their jokes would be. I mean, their jokes sometimes are similar to each other, but like there's a lot of times where it's every character in the movie that can have something funny going on about them. And I just had to mention that because I thought it would be funny. Yondu getting a job by a priestess was funny, because the priestess just had a carpet rolled out for her, because there are these golden beings that think everything around them is beneath them, and they're high and mighty on their high horses and whatnot, right? And I remember like a lot of that just being kind of funny, and just seeing that carpet, like them fuck up on the carpet. Kaiju Gaming, welcome back. Ooga chugga, ooga shaka. Oh my god, Lucas. We got a lot of ooga boogas over here. We got the Oogie Boogie gang. Oh god, Oogie Boogie. Should I make a video on Night Before Christmas movie? Fuck, I played the game. I talked about the game, but not the movie. Maybe I should do the movie. Someday I will do the movie because of that. I might write it in here sometime, if I'm not watching a Marvel movie with Nick, maybe I'll watch it on my own time. Yeah, just to get Yondu and that priest having that moment was kind of funny. Drax and friends fighting the priest /space the priest in the space battle was also really cool. I like that little set piece. I want to date this girl, but she's a furry and a lesbian. Well, I apologize for that, because sometimes. Oh, I read 3, then 4, then 3.5. I should have looked at the numbers, but I'm fucking up over here a little bit. Mantis is shown, but also putting Peter on the spot was funny. So basically, like, Mantis was introduced earlier on in the movie with Ego. Ego kind of introducing Mantis and what her role is and whatever. She also explains what she does for Ego. Ego basically keeps her alive for a very small purpose, is to help him sleep. Because, Ego has a problem sleeping, I guess, right? That's what she does. She helps ease his mind and all that other sort of stuff, right? Mantis also has the ability, she's like a telepath or something like that, or something more than that. She's able to read people's emotions /feelings for somebody, not their thoughts, but she's able to read like emotions and able to control them and maybe even bend them to their will. It's a whole thing. She's kind of cool. She kind of has cool, weird abilities, and one of the times she used it for the first time was on Peter Quill when she touched him, and basically she said, "Ooh, you're thinking Gamora hot. You want to fuck that girl, or you have feelings for her." And I remember, like, Drax just laughing his ass off. And I'm like, you know what? Why do I feel like Mantis is, like, one of those friends that just randomly puts somebody on the spot? I feel like Mantis, Drax, and Quill in that moment is, like, a representation of, like, 3 types of friends. The one friend that fucking rats on one another or something, or that just tells other people shit, the one that just laughs at everything, and then you got the other one who's just like yourself in that moment is just cool. And I thought Mantis putting Quill on the spot was kind of sad because you obviously know Quill was like really embarrassed about that even happened to him. It was a whole thing. But I thought it was still funny nonetheless. 6, Rocket talking, taking out a lot of folks like in this because I remember basically what ended up happening was Quill, Gamora, and I think maybe Drax and others went out the ship and they said to Rocket, hey, guard Nebula and guard the ship, but also, do what you can to guard it. And basically just watching Rocket basically set up all these traps, all these explosives, all this shit to defeat all these pirate dudes was actually mad fucking funny. And I love that moment. But I'm not going to lie, I kind of like furries. Gotcha. You know what? It's 2025. I'm not going to try and change people. You know what I mean? That's not my goal here. You do you, Don't be afraid of that. Well, as long as it doesn't interrupt others and you're not, like, trying to force it down somebody else's throat, then it's cool. You know what I mean? Anyways. Ego is such a dickhead and only caring about, like, his planet. Because I remember, as soon as I heard the name Ego was the main villain of the movie, or the main place the Guardians are visiting, because this movie is also all about Peter Quill learning that he has a dad, learning that he has blood family, learning that he's not full human, he's half human, half alien, right? And I just knew, as soon as Ego showed up, as soon as they went to the planet, I remember I told Nick, Ego's going to be a dickhead. He's the main villain of the movie. This guy sucks. He's the problem. We need to get rid of him. Like, I just knew from that name alone, because nothing comes good. Nothing is good when you hear the word ego, or ego-driven, or whatever in there. It's always negative. I don't care what people say. Just ego in general, just having it is a no-no. And the fact that dude is named Ego, he must have a lot of ego, bro. Number 8. Truly love... Drax saying, if you're ugly and folks love you, you know that they truly love... they truly... Okay, let me repeat that. Number 8, right? Drax saying, if you're ugly and folks love you, you know they truly love you, right? But beautiful people, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up on their mind. Basically, Drax was saying there, and I thought this was a cool quote from Drax, because Drax in this movie pretty much is, the big, tough, stupid guy, right? And I wasn't expecting a quote from Drax that would stick with me a little bit, because I feel like a lot of people today might need to hear that quote from Drax, because there's a lot of people in this world that don't have the best looks, that don't have the best something, and, and if people are banding around you, even if you don't look the best, you look hideous or whatever, and people still stick around you and shit, that shows they truly love you. That shows they truly care about you. It's not about looks for them whenever they want to hang around you and shit. It's about who you are deep down and shit. And just hearing that from Drax really had me going on. 9, Groot bringing back bringing back random things to Yondu and Groot, or Yondu and Rocket was funny. I wrote Groot in the notes because I thought it was weird. Watch the Walking Dead series. I would, if I was interested. I remember I watched it way back in the day, but I probably couldn't tell you how it was now, though. When, I think season 2 or 3 was the new shit. That's how long ago it was for me. But anyways, I just love that moment because since Groot, at this point, keep in mind, he died in the last movie, and he was a big, giant fucker last movie. So seeing him be this little, small fry-looking dude, and basically Groot's a kid again. He has to regrow everything, regrow his mind, regrow everything and all that. And Groot just bringing Yondu, because Yondu lost his head spine thing, which allows him to go ahead and kill things. Basically allows him to whistle and kill things. That's basically what Groot and Yondu want, so they can also get help breaking out of here and all that other sort of shit. I thought it was a funny / a little bit of a cute moment on Groot's part. A lot of people think young Groot is cute, which is fair. Yondu, Rocket, and Groot slow walking while kicking ass is cool. Just gonna talk about that for a second. Peter and Gamora arguing about family was kind of sad, because I remember that argument, because basically, like, Quill, for most of the movie, when he was with his dad, his biological dad, he was literally writing out Gamora. He was writing out everybody else. I mean, don't get me wrong, he never said you guys weren't family, right? But basically he did say that in a way, like, out of anger, because Gamora and him were both angry at each other. But, and I don't blame Peter for being mad, because basically Gamora is the whole reason this even happened in the first place, because Gamora said, why don't you get to know your real dad for a little bit, and whatnot, and so on and so forth. And funny enough, the roles were reversed in the beginning of this, because I remember it was Peter / Quill that wasn't believing that it was his dad. It was just believing he's some random nobody, no-show, right? But Gamora was the one leaning on the idea that you should go see what he wants, you should see how he is, you should see your dad. And now in this argument, it's Peter that's seeing, his dad for what he is, aka this planet-bending reality fucking person, right? And it's Gamora being suspicious of his activity. I mean, and Gamora, the reason why Gamora is suspicious of his activity is because from Mantis, because Mantis told her what the hell is up, like, by saying, Ego is evil and all that other sort of shit. That's why Gamora's trying to tell Peter, like, what the hell is up and why you should come with us instead, and it was a whole thing. 12. Nebula wanting to murk Gamora so badly that she followed her all the way to Ego's planet for the Fade. I remember this moment, and I'm like, Jesus. Imagine being so mad at somebody. You follow them to a different country, wanting the fucking Fade. Or imagine if you got your Fade ran before, and you come out here now, all of a sudden, out of the blue, every 12 minutes or every 12 seconds, you follow that person that gave you your Fade just to track them down for another chance at a Fade. What the fuck is wrong with you, Nebula? And I get it, Nebula was in the dark, and I remember Nick was explaining this to me, and he was saying the reason why Nebula's hatred, in my opinion, is pretty valid was because Gamora, every single mission that was meant for Nebula, she would take it, she would say, it's mine, I'm the boss, get wrecked, get fucked, it's a whole thing, right? And Nebula always hated Gamora for that shit, and because of that, and doing that over the years so many times, that's why Nebula really hates the fuck out of Gamora a lot of the time. But still, going to another planet for the Fade? I'm just saying, bro, that's a little bit much, that's a little bit much. Rocket and friends doing 700 jumps to get to Peter back from Ego himself. 700 jumps, and watching that animation of them go. God, imagine taking that moment out of context on my freaking page, man. Jeez. Alex TM funny moments, and you go. You know what I mean? That'd be funny. But them doing 700 jumps is actually fucking mad, because that's way more than the average human jumps. Because I think Yondu said the average human / the average person can only jump like 5-10 times before it starts getting really fucking dangerous, and it's a whole thing. And I remember Nick was explaining to me that's how a really bad acid trip can go sometimes, and it's like. Or an acid or weed trip can go. And I remember when I said that, and I'm like, wait, that's how bad it can be? Jesus Christ, I don't even want to do it one time. But anyways, I digress. Ego slaying, and this was fucked up when I found this out. Ego slaying a ton of his own kids and killed Peter's mom. Basically, Ego was the one that implanted, Ego was the one who implanted the fucking, the shit in his mom all those years ago. So when Ego was making love with her, he inevitably said, get that mother out of here, murked. He did not want to pay no child support. He did not want to do none of that from across the galaxy. So he decided to murk her and kill so many of his kids. So basically, for hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of years, Ego was probably having sex with tons of different space ladies and space creatures that can have reproductive ability, reproductiveness, right? That can create their own offspring, just so he can use them to power up his planet, basically his own ego, his own planet, aka Ego itself, right? And hearing this, I was like, holy shit, he did what? Just to do what to Peter? And this is where that what meme comes in, right? And I remember that frame, and I'm like, and Ego's like, I know that sounds bad, kind of bad when to put it in context, and then Peter Quill just shot the fuck out of him, and it ensued a crazy battle. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you might say Guardians of the Galaxy 2 kind of feels like your Iron Man 2, kind of feels like your Thor fight, you know, where strong dude versus strong dude, supernatural dudes clash and stuff. And honestly, I thought the battle with Ego, aka Quill's dad, was pretty damn cool. I thought it was cool at times, you know. Quill having a giant fucking Pac-Man at a point, or giant rock fist or something, or Ego using his energy and, you know, Quill using his energy. Also, in between scenes in the movie, you know, Quill and Ego off-screen and on-screen are also, Quill is teaching Quill how to use his powers, and it's a whole thing, right? But I thought the final battle was actually kind of cool. I didn't think it was awful or anything. I thought it was really cool. Them trying to go for the heart, Ego's heart. Germanium, welcome back, man. Welcome back to the page. My bad for not saying nothing. But, no, he's talking about Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong. Kaiju Gaming's talking about Donkey and Diddy. No, not Donkey and Diddy. I'm talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But yeah, just them trying to go for Ego's core to blow it up so he can kill Ego for good so he doesn't spread this malice even further than he already has, which was really cool. I thought it was cool, but I also thought it was really sad because Yondu actually risked his life. He may be your father, but he's not your daddy. And that was like one of Yondu's last lines to Quill. And sadly, Quill had to have a funeral for Yondu because Yondu risked his life for Quill. He loved Quill a lot, by the way. And it was a whole thing. And, you know, and honestly, I thought that was sad. Hell, even the buddies that Yondu thought he had also came to his funeral. Which was awesome, and they all had a big celebration celebrating Yondu's funeral, basically not celebrating that he died, but basically just respecting him by shooting up fireworks and celebrating the life that he lived and also the beautiful sacrifice he made for Quill and everybody there. And honestly, I thought Guardians 2 was a solid movie. We also watched Guardians 1 and 2 the same day, April 2nd, 2025. And I won't lie to you guys, I think I don't know if Guardians 2 and 1, like I can't pick, if I had to pick a Guardians movie, I wouldn't be sure which movie to pick from, in my honest opinion, which one was better, which one was worse, because I'm not really thinking like that. I'm mainly thinking of, I wonder how this movie handles, you know, Quill and the gang, you know, is it going to be better, is it going to be worse, you know, or whatever. Or is it just going to be a fun time? And honestly, with both these movies out of the way, I could honestly recommend both these movies, and especially Guardians 2 in 2025. They're still solid movies with a lot of funny moments, a lot of serious moments, and a lot of moments that will leave you thinking about some of these scenes after you're done watching the movie. I mean, shit, after thinking about, like, Yondu and shit, I'm still thinking about Yondu, you know, a little bit, and how I wish he kind of didn't die. But I also love how his subordinate, his loyal subordinate, also was the one that took up Yondu's mantle and used a little whistle thing and planted in his head and, you know, whistle to, you know, how that thing murked things and whatever. It was kind of cool. But anyways, I digress, right? That's it from me, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends. I gotta really relax my arm. My arm hurts really bad after lifting that fridge, and I don't know. I decided just to get on, give y'all a random bonus stream. And just, do you know Phil Mayes? No, I do not know who that is. I don't know who that is. To answer your question, German, do you know Phil? Yeah, no, I don't know who that is. I don't know who he or she is. I don't know. I don't know that. Or the show or movie or anime. I don't know what that is. But I digress. Phil Mayes? No, I don't know who Phil Mayes is. I think that's how you spell it. Well, even if you spell it right or wrong, I still don't know who it is, right? That's my answer. I don't know. I don't know who they are. And I don't want this video going longer than it already has. It's already been 40 minutes of me talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. Alright, and my legs kind of hurt, because I also kind of hurt my legs when trying to move the fridge as well. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. God bless you all. Hope you guys all have a great day. And I'll see you guys next time. Also, check out all 5 to 6 of my new shorts I uploaded. Alright, I got some Punch-Out dubs today. I uploaded some Smash Brothers. I also uploaded some more Wii Sports Rage today. So check all that shit out when you guys have some time. Until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow with either another review or maybe a gameplay of Wii Play, because I need to bring some Wii Play back for y'all. You know, we need to do part 2. We might need to go for them gold medals. Or we might do another review, depending on how my arms feel and depending on how I am after all the moving and all that other sort of shit. Anyways, see you guys tomorrow, guys. Peace. I am Groot.